Right, welcome to the channel. The Orville, is it cancelled? Is it not? Who knows? We're going to explore it today and kind of fill you in on all of the details. There's a long history of rumours and tweets and posts, and it's kind of circulated quite far and wide. Now, let's have a look at, let's kind of have a discussion first. Right? What is the Orville? What is it doing that's good? It's basically Star Trek, right? It is doing what Star Trek is unable to do currently, and that's be good, or be somewhat likeable. So, is there a place in the market for the Orville? Yeah, there is. There's a big place in the market for Orville, especially with Star Trek renewing seasons and things like that. It's good counter-programming, right? Like, there's definitely a place for it. So it would seem stupid if they chose to cancel it. I'm sure everyone can see that, right? For everyone that hates Star Trek, they tend to loop around and watch the Orville, right? That seems, I mean, I don't know, but that seems to be the general census. That seems to be what people want to do. So, would it be really, really dense of them to cancel it? Yes, it would. But let's dive into it and see exactly what the rumours are, right? So the Orville producer, Tom Constantino, would recently respond to some rumours by Emery Kaya, who wrote an article at the Cinema Spot. Okay? Now, Emery wrote that there's some unfortunate news for fans of the Orville. Hulu has decided to cancel the show and will not return for a 4th season. Okay. Went on to say, I'm still trying to get more details on the situation, but from my understanding, the intention was never to make a 4th season. And this apparently ties into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So Kaya would go on and say that the sets and props will actually be recycled for Hulu's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Not sure if I completely believe that. But he would also say, it's clear to me that the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is supposed to be a replacement of the Orville. They're completely different. They should be completely different, FYI, if anyone's familiar with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They should be completely different. And also, like, how do you do a series of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Like, it's basically a TV movie, right? Set across several episodes. It's basically like a prolonged TV movie, like a mini-series. That's not going to replace an actual series with seasons. So I don't understand that. That doesn't make too much sense to me. But he would say, as they are both comedy sci-fi series, and Hitchhiker's Guide will be replacing the Orville in the studio lot. Again, they're completely different. Just because they're comedy and sci-fi, not the best argument, in fairness, but okay. Now, Deadline reported back in July 2019 that Hulu was developing a new adaptation of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV series. Again, it's basically a mini-series, right? Like, it's a few episodes long. They indicate that the series was being adapted by showrunner Carlton Cuse, and writer Jason Fuchs. Now, again, these are just rumours, but Tom Costantino would come out and say, we can barely figure out how to get back to work. Wouldn't worry about 2021 or 22. Now, again, that's sort of basically, that's just the COVID situation, isn't it, right? A lot of people have having that at this point in time. A lot of people have got really bizarre, stringent methodology set up in terms of restrictions and things. Now, he would then go on and say, thanks my friend Molly Shock for the reference, crawling under my rock again, dear friends. Basically tweeted this out, which a lot of people were a bit confused about. So Jack Beers would reply and say, okay, my interpretation is that while there may be some truth to it, the rumours, that the headline is wrong, but you can't explain why yet, smiley face me if I'm warm. No truth, don't worry. Okay, interesting. Now, then obviously this set Emery Kaya off on one, and he would absolutely go insane on Twitter. Basically, there's so many tweets here. That's why I'm saying go insane. I'm preempting you for all of this. So he wrote, I like how a producer on the Orville said my scoop about the show ending after season 3 is not true, but they admitted in the same thread that they do not know if season 4 is happening. Okay. Yeah, okay, maybe. Does sound a bit dumb, but there were definitely some issues with the scoop in the first place. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is not a replacement for the Orville, simply because they're comedy sci-fi. They're completely different, like night and day different, in fact. But anyway, he would go on further and say, even if we assume my inside info is false, there's just too much against the Orville for it to get a 4th season. If they really didn't plan to end it, like my article states, we're definitely getting an open ending, probably a cliffhanger too. Unless an executive producer, production coordinator, or maybe a writer says my article is false, I recommend not believing it. Even then, they have literally zero reason to tell us the truth. True, they do have a vested interest, but so do you, because if your article's debunked, it makes you look a bit dumb. So there's a vested interest on both sides, isn't there? Let's be honest. You know, if we're being completely transparent here, there's definitely vested interest on both sides. But then they'd go on and say something else interesting and say that, look, Fox Studios has literally put all the Orville sound stages up as available on their website. You don't do this if you're planning on continuing the show. But they might be available only for a short period of time because they don't know how to get people back to work. Unions and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's multiple reasons why that could happen. They could be like, right, we'll just hire it for 6 months. Make some money from it. It's just sat there otherwise. I can see that. I think that makes some sense anyway. But then that wasn't enough, and he continued even further and said that they never intended to make a 4th season. It has always supposed to end after season 3. Seth MacFarlane signed a new output deal with NBC Universal, and I don't think he'll have time for the Orville. Seth MacFarlane can do a lot, to be fair. I don't see the issue there. They do a lot all in one go. Again, I don't see that being a massive problem. But yeah, I mean, it is right. The Hollywood Reporter reported that MacFarlane inked a $200 million deal with NBC, and they noted that in their report, sources say MacFarlane and his Fuzzy Door Productions banner will create and develop new TV projects for across the media giant's portfolio, working with cable and streaming-focused Universal content productions, as well as broadcast-leaning Universal Television in the division fronted by Bonnie Hammer. In addition to continuing his work on current shows like Family Guy, MacFarlane is said to be excited to create new projects for across the NBCU fold, including for basic cabler sci-fi. Sources say he's interested in starring in and producing musicals, political dramas, and anthologies around historical events, in addition to working on new animated projects. So yeah, sounds like he's doing a lot. Still think he could do the Orville, though, personally. But again, like, I mean, these sets being recycled for... I mean, let's have a look at it, right? This set being recycled for A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Could it be? Yeah. It could be that the experimental reality drive, I think it was, ship. You could see that, yeah. I could see that. They'd have to sort some of the chairing out and things like that. But I don't know. It's difficult to really kind of go into, right? But anyway, there's more information, you know, that continues even further. Because again, Emery continued even further and said the Orville doesn't make sense. The Orville doesn't make sense. A lot of money and was mostly made to please Seth and keep him at Fox. The Orville isn't on Fox anymore, and Seth has signed a new deal with the competition. So why keep the Orville around? It doesn't make sense for both parties. It doesn't. Because if they're going to, you know, if he's working with another company, you still may want him to be at Fox, right? Or at least, you know, working with Hulu in some regard to keep him around. Because otherwise then you're just letting him go, and it's talent, isn't it? So there is some sense there. It's like Disney hiring actors that are working for Warner Brothers, same kind of thing. You'd still want them there. They're talent at the end of the day. Now continues further and says that unless Orville Season 3 somehow performs insanely well, better than ever before, there's no reason to make a 4th season. If the Orville Season 3 performs so good they want to make a 4th season, they'll have to rebuild the sets and everything. Sets can be rebuilt super quick. But there you go. I just wanted to kind of run it down give you my thoughts on it. I genuinely don't know where this sits at this point in time. It is all rumour and conjecture, but I thought I'd give you an update. What do you guys think? For me, I think it can go either way. I don't think anything this chap is saying is 100%, you know, definitive. You know, it doesn't make you go, that's that. Good argument, you know. A lot of it can just be backhanded away. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Please do turn that bell notification on to all, because otherwise you won't be notified. I mean, I stream on Monday nights. Basically, none of you get notified of my streams, which is a real shame because they're quite good hangouts. But thank you all. Anyway, I've been Mr. H. Take care.